I want to start here with a question. And the question I want to ask you is, do you talk to yourself? And as I ask that, what I'm asking isn't, do you walk down the street talking to yourself all the time? There's definitely some stigma in our culture against doing that. However, just a little caveat there as I talk about that, if you were to put a Bluetooth headphone in and not have it on, or just any headphones and not have it on, people would just assume that you're talking on your phone. So you could get away with that. Back to the point. What I'm asking is, do you have conversations with yourself? That could be internally, it could be through a journal, it could be through a video diary, it could be through just voice recordings. And are you asking yourself how you are doing? Are you treating yourself like you would treat a close friend? It's an interesting thing to think about. It's something that if I'd talked about this a year ago, well, I wouldn't have been able to talk about this a year ago, because a year ago I wasn't doing it on a regular basis. I wasn't acknowledging the importance of my relationship with myself. And it's something that I have done in the past with some amount of regularity. And it's something that I have been doing habitually and kind of ritual, well, maybe not habitually. I think I'd call it more of a ritual, where I start every day off touching base with myself. And I've found it to be just extraordinarily beneficial for me. It's improved my internal dialogue, it's improved my relationship to myself, and it's improved my clarity about what I feel like is important in my life. And that has changed pretty much everything. My perception on what I'm capable of, my perception of what I need to do, all of these things have shifted since I started this habit, this ritual. And the way that I do this is that I sit and I meditate for about 10 minutes right after I wake up. First thing, I put coffee water on and then I meditate. And I meditate for 10, sometimes 15, usually always at least 10 minutes. And then I sit down with my coffee and I journal for another 10 to 15 minutes. And this morning I had a little bit more time, so I journaled for more like half an hour. And yesterday morning I had a little less time, so it was just 10 minutes. But that process has proven to be really, really valuable to me. And what I've come to realize personally is that without that, I lose touch on what's happening in the background, back here. And meditation, I feel like, is a tool that can be used to help to maybe identify the voices that are kind of back here. When I say the voices, like, I'm not talking about like a crazy thing, but we all have thoughts that are running in our kind of just under the conscious level all the time. And if we don't have a practice that acknowledges these thoughts, well, then those thoughts are going to influence us without our knowledge of them. And so meditation is a practice that I find really valuable for realizing that the thoughts are there and potentially allowing ourselves to be influenced by them less. The conversation aspect of these things, again, either through dialogue or through writing, just kind of whatever you're drawn towards, whatever feels the most free to you, is the aspect that allows us to actually have conversations with those thoughts and to acknowledge them and then decide, do we actually believe in them or not? One of the things that I've been doing recently, just the last couple days actually, is looking at my dreams. And I don't necessarily need to go into the details of the dreams, but what I realized after this latest dream this morning, as I was recounting into my journal what the dream was, I realized that a big piece of the dream was about me being scared of success. And, that manifests in a very interesting way to me, my personal story, in the dream itself. But what I came out of it realizing is that I have big projects that I'm working on right now, big to me. And some piece of myself that I was not aware of, I was not conscious of, is kind of fighting me on these projects. Because what I came up with, the reason that I came to, is that piece of me is scared of two things. So one is that success to me in the endeavors that I'm working towards means that I'll get thrown into a much more public spotlight than I have lived my life up until now in. And the vast majority of me is very excited at that prospect. Things like making this video that I'm going to share publicly on the internet. Maybe people will see it, maybe they won't. But the idea of people seeing it, and that, my private thoughts are going to be shared, is really exciting to the vast majority of me, but to some percentage of me, a little scary. And it wasn't something that I'd necessarily been acknowledging, and so it was running as an undercurrent that was affecting some of what I was doing. And so it was interesting to come to that realization as I was kind of going through some dream analysis. So that's just one way that I've used it, but it's definitely something that I found to be extremely valuable, both for myself and for people that I've coached on this. And so what I would invite you to do if you're watching this video is to take some time and to have conversations with yourself as frequently as you can, and to touch base with yourself. It could be as simple as just, how am I feeling? And being honest with yourself. Not just the casual, oh, I'm good, how are you? That we might have with an acquaintance out in the world. But how am I feeling? Like, what am I feeling? Am I feeling happy? What am I feeling happy about? Am I feeling sad? What am I feeling sad about? Am I feeling overwhelmed? What am I feeling overwhelmed about? And is there anything that I need to do to help myself to feel better if I'm feeling low, or help bring myself up? Taking an honest look at that and having that honest conversation and fostering an honest relationship with ourselves. Man, I tell you, it's something that I find to be so valuable. And I believe that it's something that will be valuable to everyone in some way, shape, or form. So, I encourage you, give it a shot, and I'd love to hear from you about any experience that you have with it. So, thanks for watching. Talk soon.